Hey, welcome everybody. Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, and we're ready to start a 1992 Statis Pro game. This is the 1993 game that came with the 1992 cards. This was the last year that Statis Pro produced a baseball set, and I'm going to start right away. Now, this game is a little bit different than your standard game because it's all driven by fast action cards, no dice, although I have used dice. You can use 2d8s. And let's start with the lineup. This is going to be a game played April 7th, 1992, opening day in New York, and Boston at New York. It's going to be Boggs, Reed at second, Boggs at third, Reed at second, and Greenwall in left, Burks in center, Plantier in right, and Jack Clark, the DH. Move on, the first baseman, Pena, the catcher, and Luis Rivera, the shortstop. From what I see, the game comes with all the players. Now, these games at one time were $30 to $45. Now they're $85 and up. Randy Velardi for the Yankees at shortstop, Don Mattingly at first base, Roberto Kelly the center fielder, Mel Hall in left field, Danny Tartable DH, Matt Noakes the catcher, Jesse Barfield right field, Charlie Hayes third baseman, and Pat Kelly at second base. Now, the pitchers are Roger Clemens for the Red Sox versus Scott Sanderson. And Clemens has a little bit of an advantage. His PB, and I'll show you what that is in a second, he is 2-8, so more results will come off his card versus Sanderson, who's at 2-6. Now, these older cards, this is a unique older card. It's a little bit more I don't know, it has a little bit more of a decoration in that it adds color and it creates this oval thing, and then it has the name in the center. Usually they're just black and white cards, very straightforward. But I guess in 92 they were trying, to jump the shark, to do something outside of the norm to see if they can get a little bit more demand for their product, and obviously it didn't work. It went out of business in 90, or they stopped producing it. The company, it was a big company, Avalon Hill, they didn't go out of business. But they stopped producing the baseball game. They just weren't selling enough of it. It's a nice, sturdy board, by the way, on the level of any other game, like, that has a board that kind of you open up and put it down on the table. This has all your charts on it already, automatically. There are on-base situations where you have to look up. They're easy to memorize, though. And that's about it. So let's start. It's going to be, you got to, here in this game, you got to go across. In other words, Scott Sanderson, the home pitcher, will be facing Wade Boggs. Let's pull a card. First, we're going to look at the PB rating to see, is it going to be off the pitcher card or the batter card? And it's a 7, so it's going to be off the batter card. And now we're going to look for a random number, and it's a 47, and that 47 is going to be an out. He's an LN, so what kind of an out? It's a line out to second base. So Boggs lines out to second, one away. All right, just playing Statis Pro. Sorry for the glare on this. Got a big old light. I need to see. Jody Reed batting second. I'm going to pull to see whose card. It's a 6. This time it's going to be off Scott Sanderson, so that's an advantage. It's an 83. That's an out. Jody Reed is an RN. It says it right there. And an RN is, well, all batters are going to pop up to the infield, to shortstop. Randy Velardi makes the catch. 2 out here in New York. We are in the Bronx. The Bronx. Here's Mike Greenwall. Pull a card. The PB is Scott Sanderson. So we're going to read off Scott Sanderson card, and it's a 75. That'll be an out, an LN batter right there. But in this case, it's all outs are G3. So a bouncer to the first baseman Mattingly. It could be an error. Error, none. So G3, and that's 3 up, 3 down. All right, we go to the bottom of the first. And it's going to be Randy Velardi. It's a CD. That's a clutch defense, only with runners on base, so it's a 3. It will be off Roger Clemens, and it's a 37 off Clemens, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Clemens blows a fastball by Velardi for the first out. Don Mattingly's next. That's a 2, again off Clemens. And The number is going to be an 85. That's an out. And I use the lefty righty. Where's the lefty righty here? That was a really good system that they use. I don't see it. Runners advancing. I got to take care of my girl out there. She's all right. I don't see they usually on the other. This is a 1992 version. On the other charts, they had the. Oh, there it is. Lefty versus righty, and it's good. Hold on a second. Let me just pause this. Okay, so Mattingly grounds out to Mo Vaughn at first base, but Mo Vaughn juggles it, and I pull the next card. It's 3-10. Mo Vaughn's a 4, so that falls within 3-10. So that's going to be a ball that he drops, and Mattingly's safe on an E3. So Mattingly's at first. If we wanted to, we could put a little. I never do this kind of stuff, but all right. So now it's it's going to be Roberto Kelly up. So let's pull a card. That is a 2, again, off Clemens, a 74. That's going to be an out. What kind of an out? This is important now. He's an RN, and RN is a ground ball 5A. That means advance. So it tells you really what it is there. And then we're going to check for the error because there is an asterisk. No error, so it's a 5-3. And runner advances. Mattingly's at second base now. So Kelly pulls one in the hole and to Boggs. Mattingly advances on that. There's only one play, and that's the first. Here's Mel Hall. He's a lefty. And we got 2 outs. Runner on second. Here's the pitch. We're going to see. It's going to be off Clemens' card, and an 18 off Clemens will be a base hit to center field. And Mattingly's at second, but there's 2 outs. So it's a base hit to center field. And we're going to check the center fielder's arm. And that is going to be Burks. His arm is a T3. A T3. So we're going from second to home on a single, a T3. Then we have to look at the base running for Mattingly, which he's a base runner of a C. So that's 11-46, but there's 2 outs, so 11-66. We're going to try to score, waving Mattingly home. There's going to be a play at the plate, and he is random number 26. That's below the 66, and he scores. All right, so Mattingly comes around on an RBI single by Mel Hall, and the Yankees here at home, and the crowd loves it, are up. They are up 1-0. All right, Danny Tartable's up. He's got good power. I just remember he has good power. It doesn't say anything on the card to tell me that. So there's 2 outs and 1 on, and that's going to be off Clemens' card. And it's going to be a 37. That's a strikeout to end the inning. So it blows a fastball by Tartable. So 1 run on 1 hit and an error. And we move to the top of the second. All right. Ellis Burks leading off for the Red Sox. The Red Sox, the Yankees' nemesis. Pull the card. It's a 5. It'll be off Scott Sanderson. A 45 is ball 4. So Burks walks. A little bit hard to handle these cards. They're a little bit kind of sticky to the. There's no really, I don't know, they're not thick enough to grab. Next batter is a 7, and that's going to be off Plantier. Plantier with a 71. That's going to be an out, an LN. See if we can double play or a fielder's choice here. Oh, that's going to be a potential double play. Plantier's a B. Sometimes you can beat it out. Let's check for the error first. It's ground ball to the third baseman. Charlie Hayes. And there will be no error. So now, no error on that. So now we're looking at that star line 5. Now, this is where you got to, sometimes the runner, if he's fast enough, he'll beat it out going to first. And I noticed that Plantier's a B. So he could potentially, there's runner on first, so let's just grab that man on second, man on third. It's a bunch of charts here. Man on first, the G5 OBRA batter beats it out. It's a 5-4-3 round the horn double play. Okay, I knew that. I just didn't know. So it's got to be an OBR base runner of a. He's a B and it has to be an A to beat that out. So it would have been a fielder's choice. All right, so 2 outs now, and here comes Jack Clark. Pull a card. Is it going to be off the pitcher or the batter? It's going to be 10, so that'll be off the batter, and that's a 15, which is ripped to left field for a base hit. And with 2 outs, I'm just going to give him. There's nobody on base, so it's a single. I thought there was somebody on base for a split second there, and that's off the batter card, so there could be an error. I'm going to check that. No error. Okay. Here's Mo Vaughn with 1 on and 2 out. Pull the card. Every 3rd inning, you have to shuffle the deck. Okay, that's a BD, which is a clutch batting. He's got clutch batting numbers right here at the bottom of his card. It's a 22, and that's going to be a drive in the gap. That's going to be a double, and they're going to wave Jack Clark around. BD, I automatically let him score because that means the guy was a clutch guy. And the game is tied now. So Mo Vaughn with a 2-out double here, RBI double, drives in Jack Clark. And they're getting to Sanderson a little bit, a walk and a couple of hits, and the game is tied at 1. All right, Tony Pena. It'll be a 9. It'll be off Pena's card. Oh, and actually on that, we can check for an error. No error, so we're going to pull again. It's a 6. It'll be off Sanderson. And 38, and that's strike 3, and that retires the side. It gets Pena swinging. So 1 run on 2 hits, and the score is tied at 1 apiece. All right, it's going to be Matt Noakes, Jesse Barfield, and Charlie Hayes. Roger Clemens with the pitch. It is off Clemens, a 47, and that's a potential pass ball. We're going to roll again. This time it's an 8, still off Clemens, and the number is 66. That'll be an out. What kind of an out? He's an LP. It'll be a fly ball right field. Over and under it is Plantier. 1 down. So Matt Noakes flies out. Here's Jesse Barfield, picked up from the Toronto Blue Jays. I think he played a couple of years with the Yankees, 91 and 92, I believe. I think he came over in 91. All right, we're pulling a card. It's a 5, so it will be off Clemens. A 25, and that is strike 3. Struck him out. Barfield heads back to the bench. Charlie Hayes now. Pull a card. It's going to be off Clemens. And it's a 35, and that is strike 3, and that ends the inning. So 2 strikeouts there for Clemens, and we go to top of the 3rd. And that, yep. And the top of the 3rd is going to be Luis Rivera, the shortstop. He played in 93 games. Played 1 game at 3rd base, 1 game at 2nd base, 1 game in the outfield, 1 game at DH. Luis Rivera. All right, we're in the top of the 3rd. So after the 3rd, we're going to shuffle our cards. And we got a 5, so that's going to be off Sanderson. And it's an 11. That's wait a second. So he is... Oh, he's a righty, so it's righty on righty. And an 11, righty on righty, and 11 is a strikeout. So that's the 2nd strikeout for Sanderson. Top of the order now for Boston. Here's Wade Boggs. It's going to be a 10, so it's going to be off Boggs, and that's a 17. That is ripped to center field for a base hit. Could be an error. We'll check. No error. So Boggs is on at first. Here's Jody Reed. Pitch from Sanderson. It's a 9. It'll be off Reed's card. And that's a 45. And that will be an out, an RN. It's a fly ball infield. Backing up is second baseman Kelly. And Kelly on the outfield grass makes the catch. Let me just tidy up something I did here a little bit. All right, so 2 out, and Boggs is on at first. And batting next is Mike Greenwall. Pull a card, and that's an 8. It will be off Greenwall, and it's at 72, which will be an L. It's an out. LN is a bouncer to third. Check for the error. No error. And I'll go 5-4. Fielder's choice. Inning over. No runs. 1 hit. 1 left. And we move to the bottom of the third. The Yankees are coming up. It's going to be Pat Kelly leading off against Roger Clemens. It's a pitch to Kelly. It's off Clemens' card. Wow, this is a drag, fighting with this. Jesus. It's a 23 off Clemens, and that's going to be a base hit to right. A little check swing. Texas leaguer that drops in for Pat Kelly. Not much of a hitter, but he's on at first. Here's Randy Velardi now. That's a clutch defense. So we're going to see the clutch defense is the pitcher. Let's see. Does he have a clutch defensive rating? I don't see. Oh, there, he has a 4. So he's a 4. Where's the clutch defense? He is a clutch defense of a 4, but I don't see that anywhere. Let me see. Clutch defense of a 4, but let me see if it's on one of these charts. Bases loaded, error, Z, results, special. Oh, here it is, clutch defense. Okay. All right, so pitcher clutch defense. We're going to pull a card. It's going to be number 25, and that's going to be a double play, 1-4-3 double play. Wait. Yep, 1-4-3 double play. So great play, right back to Clemens, turns, hits the second baseman, Reed, the throw to Vaughn, and that's a 1-4-3 double play, 2 outs. And here's Don Mattingly. It's a CD, but there's nobody on base now. It's a 6, so that's off Clemens. That's a 78. That'll be an out. He's an LP, and it's a fly ball deep center field. Backing up is, who's out there? Burks, and Burks got a beat on it. No runs. 1 hit. Nobody left, and we go to top of the 4th. This is where we have to shuffle now. So Mattingly flied out. Burks is going to be up. We have it all set up here. So this is a fun game. It's a little bit different. If you can grab the cards, it's a little bit easier to play. I'm having an issue grabbing onto the cards. Everything is very tight, so if you move it too much, everything gets out of whack, and cards move all over the place. So I'm trying to be, careful with it. But it's a fun game. The prices went up a lot for these games. I opened this game. I bought it in 2018. I think I paid $40 for it, plus the shipping. I think it was like $52, or maybe it was a little bit less. And I had it in a box. I never opened it, and I opened it. I thought I bought another set at that time, and I have to look. It was actually a double set. It was 2 sets. I think it was 88 and 89, something to that effect. But they were not separated yet. So anyway, all right. Let's start with the top of the 4th inning. The score is 1-1. Boston at New York, April 7th, 1992. Where were you April 7th, 1992? Ellis Burks, Scott Sanderson. I'm not using the visitor pitcher reduction. That's optional, and that just drives me crazy. It's going to be off Burks. And what's the number here? It's a 66. That'll be an out. RP. It's a pop-up to the right side. First baseman, Mattingly. one down. Phil Plantier, lefty hitter. That's a Z. We're not using that. It's a 4, so it'll be off Sanderson, a 58. That's an out. What kind of an out is it? It's going to be he's a LN, and that'll be bouncer to second. Easy play for Pat Kelly. 2 out. And here's Jack Clark. A 6, that's off Sanderson. A 12, and that is he's a righty. He is a righty versus a righty, and that's going to be a pop-up behind the plate. Foul ground. Flipping his mask away to Noakes, and Noakes near the stands makes the catch. That is the righty-righty splits. 11 and 12 are going to work in the pitcher's favor on that. All right, so we move to the bottom of the 4th inning now in a 1-1 ball game. So we got a good ball game going here. And it's Roberto Kelly leading off. Here's a pitch. It's 4. It's going to be off Clemens' card, and that's a 56. That'll be an out, an RN. And that's bounced to short. Check for the error. No error. So bounce to Luis Rivera, who makes the play, 1 away. Mel Hall singled in his first at bat and drove in a run. It's a 7. So that's off Clemens. A 65 is an out. An LP is a line out to first base, and it says check for error, but I'm not going to do that because a line out is either a hit or an out. There's no errors on line outs. Very unusual. It's like that would be a rare play. So that's 2 outs, and here's Danny Tartable. An 8, that's going to be off Clemens. An 84 is an out. Tartable is RP, and that'll be a bouncer to third. Check for the error. No error. So Boggs makes the play on Tartable, and that ends the inning. 3 up and 3 down. So sometimes we know a little bit more than the games we play, especially if we play a lot of games and watch a lot of baseball. We have our own understanding. And sometimes rules in one game totally contradict the rules in another game, and that's another thing. If it makes sense to you, then it makes sense. And as long as you're fair with both teams, it doesn't really make a difference. The game is not going to hinge on something like that 99.9% of the time. It takes a lot of other factors. Like you don't lose a baseball game because of one guy. You know what I'm saying? If you had scored 3 more runs in that second inning, when you had the bases loaded and you only scored 1, and you left the bases loaded, well, then it wouldn't have came down to that one guy, not getting a hit or striking out or throwing a wild pitch or whatever. We like to have goats in life. We like to blame people for stuff, but not really how baseball works. And it's going to be Mo Vaughn here against Scott Sanderson in the top of the 5th. I'm using the Digi Dugout scorecard, which has the numbers so small, it's almost impossible to see. All right, so 2, so that's going to be off Sanderson. And an 84, that'll be an out. He's an LP, and that'll be a ground out to third. Nice play by Charlie Hayes. Oh, a 2-10 error. That may be an error, may drop the ball. Let's see. Charlie Hayes is a 4 error rating at third base, so he does boot it. So it's a E4. Yes, sir. So both teams have an error now. And here's Tony Perez. I'm sorry, Tony Pena. My fault, Tony Pena. All right, here's the pitch from Sanderson. It's an 11, so it's off Pena, 33, and that's a strikeout. So it gets Pena on a fastball. Here's Luis Rivera now. And we could bunt with Rivera. He's a B bunter. So bunt, where's the bunt rate? There it is. So B bunter. It's a B bunter, and it's a 14. It'll probably be a good bunt. Batter out, pitcher to second. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Batter out, pitcher to second, covering first. Runner advance. Okay, it's a good bunt. So Mo Vaughn is at second base now for Wade Boggs. Put that there. We're on second. Oh, Jesus, dropped the card. Let's see if we can get it. I'm going to try to get it without making the old man noise. I hate that old man noise. All right. So here's Wade Boggs. It's an 8, so it's going to be off Boggs, and it's a 74. That'll be an out. LN. It's bounced to first. Let's check for the error on Mattingly. Oh, a 310. What kind of? We've got a lot of error rolls today. Mattingly is actually a 1 error, so it will not be an error. And he steps on the bag to retire the side. So no runs, no hits, an error, and 1 left. We move to the bottom of the 5th inning. All right, it's going to be Matt Noakes leading off against Roger Clemens. It's a 4, so it's off Clemens. 80-61 is an out. D is an LP, and that'll be grounded to short. No error. 6-3, 1 down. Next up is Jesse Barfield. It's a 7. That's off Clemens. 88. So Barfield is a righty versus a righty. Nope, there's nothing there. 88. That's an out. Let's say what kind of an out? It's he's an RN, so it'll be a line out to short. L6. Nice catch by Rivera. Goes up, comes back down with it. A little white at the end of the glove. Charlie Hayes with a 9, and that'll be off Hayes' card in the 71. That'll be an out. An RP is a bounce to the short. Check for the error. Oh, 4-10 on Luis Rivera. Could be another error, and his error rating is a 5, so it is an error. And we also have to look at the type of error. Sometimes it could be a 1-base error or a 2-base error. So this is an error. Nobody's on. It's a 1. I don't remember what that is off the top of my head, so I'll have to look at the chart. Once you memorize it, it's okay. I think it's just a straight out error. It's just like a bobble, a drop, a boot. Base is empty, and that was a 1 error rating. Yeah, it's a batter safe on error, so it's E6. So Charlie Hayes is on an error by Luis Rivera. And here is, so he's on at first. And next batter is going to be off of Pat Kelly, 61, RN. RN says a fly ball deep left field. Backing up is Greenwall, and Greenwall makes the catch. So no runs, no hits, an error, 1 left, and we move to the top of the 6th inning. All right. Who's up now? It's going to be Jody Reed. See if it's off Clemens, an 11. No, it's going to be, I'm sorry. It's not off Sanderson. It's going to be on Reed's card, and it's 36, and that is a strikeout. So Reed swings and misses at a Sanderson curveball. It's getting a little bit frustrating with these cards. It's hard to grab them. Patience is a virtue. So it's going to be Greenwall and Burks. All right, Greenwell, and Burks, and then I think it was Plantier, and then Clark. It went on the floor, so everything got out of whack. Okay. There's a pitch. There's 1 out. It's going to be a 9, so that's off Greenwell. Greenwell with a 35, and that is a base on balls, so Greenwell walks. And here's Ellis Burks. Pitch, it's a 6, that's off Sanderson. A 75 is an out. What kind of an out? He's an RP. RP is a pop-up infield. Second baseman Kelly makes the catch. 2 out. And it should be Plantier next. It's a 10. That is off of Plantier's card. A 65 is an out. He's an LN, and that's a ball hit right back to the pitcher, and no error. 1-3, and that retires the side. They leave one, and after 5.5, it's still tied at 1 apiece. New York's coming up at the top of the order. Randy Velardi leading off. All right, here's Roger Clemens. It's off Clemens' card, a 77. That's an out. And that'll be a fly out to right, one away. So Velardi lifts one to right field, and right there's Plantier. Okay, it's a 9. That's off the batter, Don Mattingly, 74. That's an out, an LP. Is what kind of an out? It's a line out to the second baseman, L4. Line out, and right there is Jody Reed. 2 out. Roberto Kelly. Kelly is 0 for 2. Got 2 ground outs today. Here we go. Roger Clemens. It's a 9. It's going to be off of Kelly. Kelly's card, and it's going to be a 32, which is a just missed beam. That's a drive down the line, and that's a fair ball into left field corner. Digging for second is the speedy Kelly. He gets there ahead of the throw. I'm going to check for the error. No error, so it's a 2-out double for Kelly. Excellent speed. Stole a lot of bases as well. Okay. It's a 2-out double by Roberto Kelly, and it's Mel Hall now. So we're going to pull a card. A little bit of a mess. Let's put the Roberto Kelly at second base. And it's a 4, so it's going to be off Roger Clemens, a 76. That's going to be an out, kind of an out. Mel Hall is an LP, and that is a line out to third base to Boggs, and that ends the inning. L5. A lot of line outs in this game. I noticed I got like one line out. Well, I got one line out at least in the last 3 innings. 2 in this inning, in the bottom of the 6th inning. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 left. And we move to the top of the 7th inning, playing Statis Pro. Statis Pro, good system, but it definitely is a 70s, 80s, early 90s system. You know, it's a little bumpy. It's a little bit of a bumpy ride here and there. Some sharp curves every so often that kind of slow the game down a little bit, and just. But, you know, it's still a fun game, and it's a classic game. It's one of our beloved games in our hobby. Jack Clark is going to lead off the top of the 7th. Mo Vaughn and Tony Pena. This is for Boston 1992 versus it's opening day. Boston at Yankees 1992. Top of the 7th, it's also we're going to shuffle. Yes, sirree. Let's shuffle. Both starting pitchers are still in there. Scores 1-1. And it's Jack Clark. Here goes. That's a 2, so that's going to be off Scott Sanderson. And a 48 will be a wild pitch. There's nobody on base. We're going to do it again. A 3 will be off Sanderson. And 11, righty versus a righty. Struck him out. That's the split system. Very simple, effective split system. Very good system. Very smart. Here's Mo Vaughn. A 2, that's off Sanderson. And 11, another strikeout. Back-to-back Ks on the splits. So the righties getting advantage of the righties. Mo Vaughn. Oh, is a lefty. No, that's going to be an infield hit. Infield hit for Mo Vaughn. Beats out a little nubber that goes between the third baseman and the pitcher. The pitcher picks it up and slips. And that's going to be a hit for Mo Vaughn. So no strikeout. Yikes. And we don't have to check for error there because it was off the pitcher card. I thought Mo Vaughn was a righty, but no, he is a lefty. Should know better. All right, so Vaughn is on at first. And now it's Tony Pena. Here's a pitch from Sanderson. 11, that's going to be off Pena. And a 35. Struck him out. Third strikeout, so that's 3 in a row. One more, and he's got the golden sombrero. So Pena, I don't know what I'm doing here. Pena strikes out. Here's Luis Rivera. Luis Rivera is 0 for 1. Runner on first, 2 outs. Here's the pitch from Sanderson. It's a 4, so it is off Sanderson. And 88. He is a righty versus a righty, and that'll be whatever it is. He's an RN, and that's a pop-up. to the first baseman Mattingly. He's there. That retired the side. So no runs, one hit, the infield hit, one left, and we move to the bottom of the seventh, all tied at 1 apiece. Status Pro baseball. Who's leading off for the Yankees? It's going to be Tartable, Noakes, and Barfield. All these guys got a little power to them. Let's see if it turns into anything. An 11 is going to be off Tartable. So we're going to look at Tartable's card. And a 47 is going to be a strikeout. So Clemens blows a fastball by Danny Tartable. I think Tartable was on the Seinfeld show at some point during the 90s. Next up is Matt Noakes, and it's a 5. That's off Clemens, a 13, and that is a line shot base hit to left field. So Noakes is on with a single. Bottom of the 7th, Noakes is on with a single. We have Barfield. That was off Clemens, so we don't have to check for the error. That's a 4. That's off Clemens, and a 72 is an out, kind of an out. Barfield is an RN, and that's going to be a, oh, wow, look at that. We're going to check for an error on the catcher, and there is, a 9 and a 10. I doubt that, that the catcher, Pena, goes up that high. Probably not. And let's see, his error rating is only a 1, so there's no error, but it does say, so Pena is going to fire it to second base for the force. 2-3 goes, 2-6, excuse me. And that puts Barfield on at first. Charlie Hayes is next. 2 outs. Here's a pitch. It's a BD, which is a clutch batting. And we're going to roll a 63, and that'll be an out. Fly ball center field. And that retires the side. So no runs. No hits. 1 hit, excuse me. 1 left, and we move to the top of the 8th inning. All tied at 1 apiece. Got a good game going here. Both starters are still in there. I like that. That's how I play. I like to push them. But if they start getting in trouble, it's about that time. It's already the 8th. So they are pitching well. For example, Clemens is allowed 4 hits. Sanderson is allowed 3 hits. So there haven't been a lot of hits in this game. And it's going to be Wade Boggs. Nope, it's going to be, wait. Yep, it's going to be Wade Boggs leading off. Let's see who's going to pitch it. It's going to be off Sanderson's card. And it's a 73. That's an LN. And that is bounced to Mattingly. No error. And he steps on the bag ahead of Boggs for out number 1. Top of the 8th, all tied at 1, playing Statis Pro baseball. So you get a feel. This is not on my channel very often, so this is definitely a treat. And up comes Jody Reed. I don't remember him being much of a hitter. Let's see who it's going to be read off. It's going to be read off Sanderson's card, a 76. That's an out. And it's an RN, and that's a fly ball left field. Mel Hall drifts under it, makes the catch, 2 away. Here's Mike Greenwall. That's a 7, so that'll be off of Greenwell's card. And an 88. It's going to be an out. An LN is going to be a Greenwell is a lefty versus righty. Lefty versus righty, 88. That's a base hit. Little ground ball through the hole because it's a splits. It's a splits number. Like 4 or 5 splits numbers. And they're usually the 87, 88, and then 11 to 15. Lefty versus lefty really takes a beating. But that's the worst one. So now there's a runner on first base with 2 outs, and it's going to bring up Ellis Burks. These cards are a little bit like APA. They don't give you any data, any stats. So you can kind of look and get a sense. He goes about up to 33 on a hit, from 11 to 33. That's pretty standard. So it didn't have a great season. All right. Here's a pitch. Let's see if it's off Sanderson, a 7. No, it's going to be off Ellis Burks, an 85. And that'll be RP out. And that'll be a bounce to the third. Check for the error. No error. Picked up by Hayes. Hayes over to first. And that retires the side. So no runs. 1 hit. 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. All tied at 1. Who's going to lead off? It's going to be Pat Kelly. We may bring up a pinch hitter. right here in the bottom of the 8th. Let's see what we got. We got all the players. We do have all the players from what I'm seeing. You know, they didn't use so many players back then. We're going to bring in up Deion James. I see him here. I think he's with the team. So Deion James is going to pinch hit here in the bottom of the 8th. All right, so here's a pitch from Clemens. It's a 7. It'll be off Clemens' card, a 53. That'll be an out, LN. And that's a ball hit right back to Clemens. He feels it cleanly. 1 down. So pinch hitter James hits it right back up the middle, and Roger Clemens feels it cleanly. And here comes Randy Velardi. An 8, that's going to be off of Clemens. A 75, that'll be an out, RN. It's a fly ball deep to left field. Backing up is the left fielder Greenwall, and makes the catch at the track. So these cards tell you if it's a deep fly ball, if it's a shallow fly ball. It tells you all that. So that's a good thing about it. Don Mattingly now with 2 outs. Roger Clemens, a 7. That'll be off Clemens. And a 35. That'll be a strikeout to end the inning. So Don Mattingly strikes out. We go to the top of the 9th. No runs, no hits, none left. We go to the top of the 9th. It's going to be Plantier, Clark, and Vaughn. All right, let's do it. See who it's going to be off of. A 7 is going to be off the batter, and that's a 43, which will be a base on ball. So Plantier walks. He's on at first. He's got not a good base stealing speed, but good enough base running ability. Here's Jack Clark next. You know what? We're going to go to Jamie Farr in the bullpen. We're going to call on, actually, Jack Clark is a righty. Yeah, we're going to go to Farr. Steve Farr. I'm going to call Steve Farr into the game. Sanderson did well. He went 8. But now we're going to go to the bullpen. It's going to be Farr. And Farr is a PB 2-9. Ooh, not bad. All right, he's facing Clark here with a runner at first. Nobody out. That's an 8, so it will be off Farr. A 78 will be an RN. It's a ball hit right back to the pitcher. And we're going to get a double play out of this, it looks like. It's going to go 163, pretty sure. So G1, if you feel back, double play, unless the batter is an OBR A. So it's a 163, and the Yankees turn a big double play. 1 pitch and 2 outs by Steve Farr. He was probably the Yankees closer back then. And here comes Mo Vaughn. 2 outs now, top of the 9th. That's a 9. That's going to be off Farr. And a 74, that'll be an out. An LP, that's bounced to the 3rd. Up with it is Hayes, and throws a strike to Don Mattingly. So it's 5-3, and that retires the side. So no runs, no hits, a walk, none left. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Got a good game here. Our first Statis Pro game after what? Since September. I haven't played in about 5 months. But I already visualized what I was, the flow of the game in my mind, so I was ready for it. So it's gone pretty smoothly. I haven't had a lot of bumps. But not much, not too much has happened. It's been pretty much a pitcher's duel. It's a 1-1 tie here in the bottom of the 9th at Yankee Stadium. So the crowd is on their feet right here, trying to pump up the Yankees, if you will. And it's going to be Roberto Kelly. Roberto Kelly's 1 for 3 with a double. I have to go to Hobby Shop today. Got to pick up a little mini drill because I'm working on a project for somebody. Got to pick up one of these handheld little drills that they have. Let's see. So here's Roberto Kelly. Let's see if it's off Clemens. And it is going to be off Clemens, and it's a 32 off Clemens. That's a strikeout. So Kelly swings and misses at a high fastball. So Clemens worked him up the ladder, and Kelly could not hold back. Check swing, and the first base umpire rings him up. Mel Hall, pitch from Roger Clemens. Nope, it's a BD. There's nobody on base. It's an 11, so this will be off Hall, and Hall rips it, and that's going to be over the center fielder's head, and one hop off the wall. Digging for second is Hall. Here's the throw, the tag by Reed, and he is safe with a one-out double. So Mel Hall gets a hold of a Clemens fastball and drives it over the center fielder's head. And we got a runner at second base here. The winning run is at second base with only one out. And we may go to the bullpen. Let's see what's going on here with the Red Sox. Let's see. I can see if I can remember. There's no information on this at all. And there's relief. It tells me how many relief appearances, so that helps. So Darwin did a lot of relief. Danny Darwin. Hold on. My cat is visiting me. Please go away. Not right now. It's the end of the game. That was Wright Gardner, 10 relief appearances. Hesketh, 10. Darrell Irving, 21. Oh, Jeff Reardon. We're going to bring in Jeff Reardon. And these guys can... All right, so Jeff Reardon. Oh, Farr doesn't go very long. It goes very... He doesn't have a lot of outs on his card or batters faced. Very low on that. Okay, so Danny Tartable is up with a runner at second base. We're going to walk Tartable. Let's set up the double play. And we're going to pitch to Matt Noakes, the lefty. All right, so it's going to be Jeff Reardon facing Matt Noakes, and Reardon is a 2-6, not all that great. So let's pull a card and see what happens. It's going to be off Noakes, and that's a 26, and that ball is a deep drive to right field, and backing up is the right fielder Plantier to the track, to the wall, looks up, and the crowd goes wild. 3-run home run, walk-off home run from Matt Noakes against Jeff Reardon here in the bottom of the ninth at Yankee Stadium, and the crowd is ecstatic. And Noakes, as he rounds the bases, the bench for the Yankees clears, and they're going to greet him at home plate. And that's a 3-run shot, and the Yankees pull it out in the bottom of the ninth inning by the score of 4-1. The victory is going to go to Farr. He's 1-0. This is opening day. And the loss is going to go to Clemens. He'll be 0-1. My cat's going nuts. My cat wants to go somewhere where she can't go. There's no place to go. Here, go to the chair. Get lost. All right. So what a game. That was an exciting game, an easy-to-play game. I like those games when there's not too many base runners and something big happens at the end. A big 3-run home run, and he picks up 3 RBIs. He ends up the day 2 for 4, Matt Noakes. Matt Noakes had some power that season. He did hit a few home runs that season, so it is historical, right? And the final score is 4-1. Let's quickly look at the scorecard. And count down a few things that happened. So a big hit. It was in the bottom of the ninth. There's a double, a one-out double for Hall, an intentional walk. And let's give him 3 RBIs, 4, 5, and 6. And then there was a 3-run bomb by Matt Noakes, who got a hold unloaded on that Reardon slider. Hits here for the Red Sox are 2, 3, 5. 5 hits for the Red Sox and 2 errors. And for the Yanks is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 hits for the Yankees. And they had 1 error. So the final score here at Yankee Stadium, April 7th, 1992. What were you doing? Yankees 4 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. The Red Sox 1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors. The game ends in grand fashion with a 3-run walk-off game-winning home run by Matt Noakes in the bottom of the 9th against Jeff Reardon. And can't get any better than that. Clemens pitched a hell of a ball game. He went 8.1 and gave up 5 hits, gave up 2 runs. Oh, actually 1 run. 2 runs, but 1 was earned. Walked. I don't think he walked anybody, to be honest with you. No, walked nobody. Struck out for 6. Not too bad. Reardon, well, he gave up a hit, 2 runs, a walk, no strikeouts, gave up a home run. For Sanderson, he went 8 innings, gave up 5 hits, only 1 run. That run was earned. Came in the 2nd inning on a 2-out single by Clark and a Mo Vaughn clutch double that scored him automatically in my homebrew rules. So that was a run there. And then base on balls, 1, 2, 3 walks. How many strikeouts for Sanderson? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts. And that's it. Farr came in and picked up the victory. Pitched 1 inning, no runs, no hits, no walks, no strikeouts. So that's it, guys. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, Statis Pro Baseball. So you got a little bit of feel of the game. It's an old, classic, old school game. I had some issues fumbling about with the cards, but you see it plays pretty straightforward and not hard to learn at all. Everything's mostly off the cards. I only had to look at a couple of charts twice. Of course, these charts are in front of you for special situations. Like the splits you'll pick up quickly, like righty versus righty or righty versus lefty. Righty versus righty, it's an advantage for the pitcher. Righty versus lefty is going to be an advantage for the batter. Obviously, righty pitcher versus lefty batter. And like that. It's common sense, right? So this game, it's a good game, and all the charts are pretty. There's a lot of like little numbers. It looks like there's a lot, but it really is very, very easy to follow. And you know that I'm not going to lie to you. If it's complicated, I'll tell you, hey, it's a little bit off the wall here. But otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Good game. Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Remember to join the Facebook group for guys that hate Facebook groups. Universal Baseball Association. You'll find tons of great stuff there. And we got great contributors. You got RJL, you got Network, you got the Kurt Berglund station as well. He does book reviews and he does lots of different replays and he does unboxings and all kinds of stuff. He's amazing. And you got a ton of, then you got a bunch of other guys. You got a couple other guys. Come over, check it out, and thanks for watching. Take care.